Old sculptor Julian sat in his workshop, surrounded by unfinished works. Dust covered the shelves and tables, and sunbeams penetrating through the dirty window illuminated the particles floating in the air. He looked at his creations with sadness, remembering the times when his hands were strong and confident. He picked up a small, nearly finished figure of a bird. The clay was cold, but his fingers remembered every movement that gave it shape. For a moment, a faint smile appeared on his face. The next day, a young girl named Emily came to the workshop. She brought him food and fresh news from the city. Julian was always happy with her visits, although he tried not to show it too clearly. Emily noticed the bird on the table. "It is beautiful, Grandpa," she said. "Will you finish it soon?" Julian shrugged. "I don't know, Emily. Inspiration is a capricious thing." Later that day, Julian went to the old cemetery. He sat on the bench before a moss-covered tombstone and looked for a long time at the faded name, Eleanor. Memories of her flooded over him, causing a sweet pain. He reached out and touched the cold stone, his fingers trembling. "I miss you so much," he whispered, and a tear rolled down his cheek. When he returned to the workshop, the sun was already setting, filling the room with warm orange light. He stopped in the doorway, looking at the clay bird on the table. Suddenly, he felt a surge of strength. Julian rolled up his sleeves and set to work. The clay in his hands came alive, as if it knew itself what shape it needed to take. The fire burned in his eyes once again. He worked slowly, carefully refining every detail. He remembered the curve of her neck, the shape of the wings, the shine of the small eyes. He poured his whole soul into this work, all his love for Eleanor. In the morning, Emily found him asleep right on the stool at the table, with clay on his hands and face. On the table stood the finished figure of the bird. It was perfect. Every feather was sculpted with incredible precision and love. Emily quietly covered him with a blanket and looked at the bird for a long time. She knew that this was not just a sculpture. It was a message, a farewell, and a new beginning, all at once. When Julian woke up, he saw Emily examining his work. He smiled at her, and in his smile, there was no longer the old sadness. "I named her Eleanor," he said, and his voice sounded firm and clear. News of Master Julian's return quickly spread through the city. People came to his workshop to look at the bird. They were amazed by its beauty and the life the sculptor had breathed into it. Soon, the mayor of the city came to him. "Master Julian," he said, "we would like to commission a sculpture for the central square, something that would symbolize hope and rebirth." Julian accepted the order with a bow. He worked on the new creation for months, putting his whole soul into it. It was not just a bird, but a whole flock soaring into the sky. Every line, every curve spoke of freedom and strength of spirit. When the sculpture was installed in the square, the whole city gathered for its unveiling. People applauded, some cried. Julian stood next to Emily, and his heart was full of gratitude. He knew that Eleanor would be proud of him, and he knew that art is not only a memory of the past, but a bridge to the future. He returned to his workshop, where the small clay bird that started it all was waiting for him.